Hello, Caroline.
Hello, Susanna.
Thank you for that. You took my invitation to do this interview.
Thank you for asking me.
Yes, it's a very special interview, I must say, because your project is also very unusual. And yeah, just to start with, could you maybe tell me and our listeners what's your project about? How did you start it? And which dog did inspired you to do it?
So this dog inspired
This dog
me to
here.
do it.
Okay, we can show Maggie.
This is Maggie, my sausage dog, or Dachshund.
Yes.
And it was basically in the run up to getting her that we started looking around for places that we would be able to go with her. We didn't want the fact that we had a dog sort of to stop us from being able to go out and maybe sometimes eating out and going for coffees and things, because we live in the city, or in Islandsbrygge, so near the city.
Exactly.
And so I started looking, and I actually found it quite tricky to find information on it. But I did find some information on it, but it was sort of spread out from different sources, basically. Yes. So I just thought it would be fun to create an Instagram account with this hashtag DogFriendlyCPH, where you could gather all that information in one place. That's how it started, really.
That's great. And how did you search for these places? You searched them for in English or in Danish?
Both. Yeah.
Both.
Yes.
Okay.
So I did search on hundevänlig and dog friendly, and I started probably by looking for the hashtag and seeing that there wasn't anything. There was no dog friendly Copenhagen or dog friendly CPH.
Exactly.
And when you type in hashtag dog friendly, it predicts the ending, and there's so many for different cities around the world, but there wasn't one for Copenhagen. So I think that's also what where I thought, okay, well, there's an opportunity there.
Of course.
And I can't remember if there is there's no hundevänlig, like hashtag hundevänlig Copenhagen or anything.
Really, nothing like that.
As far
Wow.
I hope I'm not lying now, but I don't remember finding one.
Okay.
But there's things on Facebook like hundevänlig restauranter or dog friendly restaurants and things. So there's a few sources where I've got information from. But for example, on the dog friendly or hundevänlig Copenhagen. Or Denmark, I think maybe I think it's hundevänlig in general for all Denmark, not for Copenhagen. On the Facebook account, it's a really good source of information. But again, you have to really go through the whole the Facebook wall feed, and then there's some spreadsheets, some Excel sheets with lots of information. So I thought the idea of putting it in an Instagram, so it's like a fun post for each place you go to. And then my aim eventually is to make a Google map, or link a Google map to the account, so that you can sort of tap on the map and then you see all of them in one map. So like if you are in town,
like an app, or
no, I think
or it's different. I've seen something like that before. I think.
It's basically I have a friend who does digital marketing, because I'm not very savvy with these things. So she's been a tremendous help, and she's showed me or sent me this description of how to set it up. But I basically create the map in Google Maps, and then I sort of save it, and I can create a link to it from the Instagram account. So it's cool. So the dog friendly CPH, it's an @ so it's a name as well as a hashtag. But on the profile itself, I can then put a link.
Yes.
So that if you are in town somewhere, you can click on that map and see what's nearby.
That's great. And I will also include the link to your Instagram account, so people who watch us, and who are also new in town, they can see what places you recommend to visit with their dogs. And because I'm sure that there are plenty of people who look for some options to go out with their dogs, so they don't have to stay alone at home. Of course.
No, whenever I mention it to people respond really well. So I think there seems to be a wish for it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, this is really needed, I think. And are you able to say what's your favorite coffee shop and restaurant in? Dog friendly, of course. Yes. Coffee shop and restaurant in Copenhagen.
Yes, I think again, we live on Islandsbrygge, and our near this is a local one which we love. Me and my husband and Maggie, we go there quite often, actually. They probably recognize us very well by now. But they're called We Cycle, and they're on the waterfront there, and it's just a really nice vibe, and they're nice food, and they have like dog biscuits behind the counter, so they're very dog friendly.
I know the place. I've been there before.
Yes.
I like the vibes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Really
bicycles
good.
hanging on
Really
the walls and
nice
stuff.
place.
It's
yes.
it's very cute, and so we go there a lot with her because it's nice and close by. So we end up going there quite often.
Of course. And the restaurant? Are you able to say
Yes,
which one?
I don't know if I can call it if it's called a restaurant or a cafe, but it serves amazing food.
Okay, so we can call it your restaurant.
Yeah, we can call it that.
That's
Exactly.
how I see restaurants.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how late it's open in the evening, but yeah, it's called Acacia, I think it's called.
Okay.
And it's on it's in Frederiksberg, in St. Kongevej.
Okay.
Yes.
Center.
Yes, exactly. And it's lovely. They do. I think it's vegan as well, and they do amazing food, like amazing brunches. And I think the owner has a dog. I think it's the owner's dog who just sleeps on a pillow.
Oh
right,
my God.
Right inside when you
Perfect
come
place.
inside. So yeah, it's really they're very dog friendly.
Oh, that's nice.
And
That's
yeah, the food's
nice.
amazing. So that is a good one for you too.
That's great. And we will also like add the links, right?
Yes,
to
yes,
the
we can
places
do
you
that.
recommend.
I've featured both of them.
Oh,
so
that's great. That's
Yes.
great. So we can, like recommend some places very easily.
Yes.
And does any of these places have a menu for dogs, or it's still something you haven't encountered?
No, it's something I've heard of, that there are places, but I haven't been to one yet.
I see.
But there is one that keeps getting mentioned, which I still need to go to. It's in Charlottenlund, I think, and it's called Café Jorden Rund, so Cafe Round the World or Cafe World Tour or something.
Nice.
And I've heard and I've seen the pictures of that they have a dog menu as well.
Oh,
So,
cool. The challenge is that it's
a bit further north.
It's a further north. Yes, exactly.
But
So it's
not that far, so it should be doable. Maybe
But you know,
this summer.
for a doggy menu, I would go there for sure.
Yes,
I wouldn't
it's
mind
worth it.
going. Yes, I wouldn't mind going so far, to be honest.
Yeah.
And what is usually the reaction of the staff when you come in with your dog? Like, and how do you find out if the place is dog friendly? Like,
Yes.
Do you call them before? Do you email them?
Yeah, sometimes I call before, and sometimes I just show up and then I go inside first, either with or without her. Or if I go with her, then I'm usually carrying her, and I check. But the places that I go to usually are places that I've seen posted or recommended.
I see.
But if I'm just going somewhere for a walk and I want to try a few new places that haven't necessarily, then yeah, maybe my husband stays outside with Maggie or my friends or whoever I'm with. And then
help her.
Exactly, and then I go in and check. So
Nice.
so it's mixed. Like if it's a place that hasn't been recommended anywhere, then they're just quite honest. They're like, no, sorry, we don't. That happens a lot, unfortunately. But yeah, and but the ones if they do, if they're dog friendly, then it's usually a really positive reaction from the staff. Either they're like, yeah, definitely. Bring her in, and some places they're a bit more careful. They maybe sometimes say, I'm not the owner or the manager,
yes.
but maybe it's I'll check, or
Sure.
and things like that. And I remember there was one place as well where I asked if I could. Oh yeah. So in terms of posting it on the dog friendly, so that's just coming in with the dog. But to post, then I usually at the end of my visit, then I'll go and speak to the staff.
Yes.
And then usually either the staff say, yeah, that's cool, or they say, but probably best to email the owner or the manager,
Yes,
and then
just to
I
make
do
sure.
that. Exactly. So,
Okay.
but I mean, it's been really nice when you do get a really positive response. It's and
like it
most
too.
of the places where I'm expecting that they're allowed, then they already know that they're dog friendly, and they're like, yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's great. That's
And
great.
a few places that have like dog biscuits. Caferiet, I think, as well as another one where they have dog biscuits, which is great. It's always like a nice touch.
Yeah, of course.
It's like that extra
Oh,
bit of dog
yes.
friendliness.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Such a good idea. Oh my god.
Yes.
And but do they have any special requirements? Probably the dog has to be calm and
Yes,
right,
yeah.
doesn't show
So a
any
few of them-
aggression or.
It definitely,
think, yeah.
that's usually what they say. As long as your dog is generally well behaved,
Has a
they're
bone.
welcome. Exactly, just give her a hide or a bone or something to entertain her. We always come equipped with a whole selection.
Yeah, that's
as
what
you
I
saw.
said. Yes, you're
So to
prepared.
see like what is she into today, and if she's not, then I've got backup.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's sometimes they actually also say, it depends on the size of the dog.
Uh-huh.
So they're the ones that are a bit more borderline, or sometimes say, it depends on the size, and we can't have too many big dogs. But yeah, I think as long as there's not going to, some of the places just don't want a whole windfall of people. Of
course, yes, that's what they're afraid of.
But I just don't see all the dogs coming in at the same time anyway.
Exactly. Oh, that's good. That's good. And I can also see that you always, that's our second meeting, and I can see that you always have a blanket with you.
Yes, yeah.
So
And
Maggie can be on the bench or on the sofa with you, right? Because that's what I see that she likes to.
Yes, and some places where I can feel that it's let's keep you on the mat, on the blanket. So some places where I feel that it's they'll allow dogs, but it's not that's not one of their big things. Then definitely I would keep it. I would also keep her on the floor. So
yes, so it's always good to ask, right?
Yes, exactly.
Of course, very important.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. And are you able to say how many places have you? Like dog-friendly places have you visited so far in Copenhagen?
I think we're up to about 10 now. Or, around that.
Around that.
I think so, between 9 and 11 or
that's
something. Something around that. And there's plenty more still to visit. Fitting it into because I realized I haven't actually posted now for a few weeks. So
you've had a break.
Next week, exactly. I've just been busy. So
of course.
So there's actually quite a few places that are on my to-do list.
That's great. So
which is nice.
Follow Caroline and just look for the new places.
Yes, and sometimes people actually message me and
nice.
and via the Instagram and have suggestions of more places that they've heard are dog friendly. So
really nice.
I always welcome those messages as well. They're great.
Perfect. Yeah. So it's good to know that people can just contact you directly and ask for some dog-friendly place advice.
Exactly.
That's nice. And I have one question for you,
yes.
About the best memory you have, regarding a visit in a dog-friendly place.
Yes.
Here.
I think all the positive responses and all the ahs and the oohs that you get sometimes in restaurants is it warms your heart.
Oh yeah, I know.
When people sort of fall in love with your dog when she's being cute. When sometimes she can be a bit mischievous and then she's not.
It's
so
hard to
cute.
believe.
Exactly, but no, I think once I was in a restaurant called Made in Italy. It's a vegan pizza place.
Nice. Do we have anything like that?
Yes, we do. We do. Yes, it's quite close by. It's just near Newhound over there.
It's good to know.
Yes. So and pizzas are amazing, and they have other things as well. It's all
only vegan.
Yeah, it's all vegan.
Wow.
Yes, it's amazing.
I really have to go there.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, I definitely recommend it.
Wow.
And,
good to know.
And yes, no, it was really sweet because I just went in there and sat and had a glass of wine with Maggie, and there were several people came up and started chatting to me and were said how much they loved dachshunds and stuff. So she gets a lot of attention. That's always nice.
I can imagine. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Wow, it's so nice. Thank you for sharing all this information with me and with the people who watch us. So we can all spread more advice and information on what we can do with our dogs here in Copenhagen, where to go and
share the knowledge.
Exactly. Yes. So I will include the links so you can have the places which Caroline recommends, and so we can enjoy your time here in Copenhagen together with your dog without leaving it alone at home. Thank you.
Thank you.